The biggest problem right now is that sports fans' needs are not being met, and this is something that we recognized early on. And the mediums, I think that the traditional networks are on, are simply going away. And so we created a new digital 24/7 touch point, system that really delivers everything that the sports fan needs and wants while putting them in a community that didn't exist before. ALLCITY Network creates micro networks for every team in every city that we're in so that these communities can have a 24/7 touch point with their team, whether that's audio, video, experiential, merchandise, written content, really any way possible, where they go, what they do, where they read, what they watch. Right now, the problem is that essentially sports talk and RSNs, they have not innovated enough to keep up with the way that fans want content delivered to them. And because of that, and because of the way that the platforms they're on are essentially going away, they're going away, and fans are losing access to their favorite teams. And so what we're doing is we're coming in and not only creating a better system than there was before, but in some instances we're giving a city really a completely revamped sports network, something that they've been losing kind of step by step over the last 10 years or so. Really, the whole idea was that, at the time, this was 2015, newspaper sites, you could barely even read them. The banner ads would pop up everywhere. There was videos and music going. I mean, you'd have to refresh sometimes just to see if you can get the article. They were unusable. And on the other side of that, SB Nation just had fans writing blogs and really aggregating news and information that they found online. And so I just thought, why wouldn't you have credentialed beat writers that are real reporters that have real information, the place that this content starts from, and just put them on one of these other platforms that wins SEO and internet communities and dominates in social because of the category specificity. And if you were to kind of try to pull one underlying factor that says, what's the one key piece that connects this entire story? And it is serving the sports fan, right? It's hearing the sports fan, knowing what the sports fan wants, and then being able to serve them in a way that makes it more fun to be a sports fan, which is our entire goal, right? I mean, I think that the mission is to create a community for the sports fan that they didn't have access to before and make it more fun for them. And we hear it every day. And that's not hyperbole. We hear that. You make it more fun to be a Flyers fan. You make it more fun to be a Bulls fan. I can't imagine being a Nuggets fan without you guys. When the Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, get DNVR Avalanche tattoo. Not an Avalanche tattoo, a DNVR Avalanche tattoo, because DNVR Avalanche was the train that took them on the journey, right? And that's what they're going to always remember that championship as. So it's very, very impactful. And I think in that way, it's hard for these kind of legacy brands to compete. What happened was we listened to what fans wanted, and we consistently moved and changed. And then we ended up as a full replacement for the sports ecosystem. So team-specific social, team-specific podcasts, team-specific web pages, team-specific newsletter and email accounts. Now, all of a sudden, it kind of came time to say, hey, it's time to step up and do a rebrand and create a scalable business. And, that was the kind of pivotal moment of the company, because that changed everything. That changed who we were. That changed what we represented. And it's changed the way that fans have access to the teams, and it changes the way that they're connected to their teams. What they need is somebody who cares about it as much as they do. And that's important. So if you're a professional and you understand the game and you're informed, and the fan can watch you and be entertained while learning something, but also knowing that you care about it as much as they do, it's very, very powerful. One of the things that really separates All City is, whether that's a podcast producer or a host or a writer or a social creator, is really that creative freedom for them to passionately lead from the crowd and not from the stage. And that's a big differentiator for us. I think that the best example to use is if you watch the RSN or you watch the national broadcast after a win, after a loss, it's the same tone and it's the same show. After a win or a loss in one of our local networks, a win is a celebration post-game show and a loss is a therapy session post-game show, right? And the difference is that the person who's speaking to the fan cares. Actually, on our shows, every show that we have, there is a host, which is kind of this balanced, talented person that drives the show. There's a credentialed journalist. This person actually covers the team, writes content, travels with the team often, and is, going to kind of fly by those guidelines. And then there's like a super fan who is just very knowledgeable about the team, and they are a, bleeding heart fan of that team that wears their emotions on their sleeves. We have Greg Braggs, who was a super fan that was a bricklayer, and he would go live on Twitter and TikTok every day, like laying bricks and talking about the Bears and having tailgates. And he was noticed by management in Chicago there. They got him on to do a late night show, and it was called Bears After Dark. We did it once a week. It's one of the biggest football shows in America. And, it's absolutely just an incredible product that shows everything that we've kind of talked about. Our vision of success, or our interpretation of success, matches directly up with our mission and our values. And those are to build these large, inclusive communities that makes every single sports fan have an attachment to their team and fans of the team that they didn't have before. If I were to say, how do we actually steer all of them for success? What you have to do is you have to have great people leading each one of those that you trust, and you have to let them drive the car. Because when you hire someone really, really good and you plug them in and you say, hey, this is how this is working now, I need you to make it a real business, they can generally take a look at it and know exactly what to do next. So, as far as measuring failure, I just can't, because to me, the only time you fail is when it's gone, when you quit, when it closes. And we never quit. It's never going to be gone, and it's never going to close.